look at your bank account. Now, look at the economy. If you feel a quiet, gnawing sense of panic, you are not crazy. You are just paying attention. Most people are sleepwalking off a cliff. They follow a script written in 1970 for a game that ended in 2008. They believe that if they work hard, save 10%, and buy a house, they will be safe. That is a lie. Here is the brutal truth the news won't tell you. The middle class isn't shrinking. It is being liquidated. We are witnessing the greatest transfer of wealth in human history, and it is not happening by accident. It is happening by design. There is a specific, algorithmic difference between the people who are compounding wealth and the people who are drowning in debt. It has nothing to do with IQ. It has nothing to do with how hard you work. There are construction workers busting their backs for 12 hours a day who will retire broke. And there are guys in hoodies making 7 figures simply by clicking buttons. Why? Because the world doesn't pay you for effort. It pays you for patterns. If you are running poor patterns, you will stay broke even if you win the lottery. We've all seen it happen. But if you install wealth patterns, you can be stripped of every dollar you own today, dropped in a new city, and you will be rich again within 3 years. The difference is in the code running in your brain. Right now, 99% of the population is trapped in a biological loop. You trade time for money. You use that money to buy liabilities, just to cope with the stress of losing your time. Then you run out of money, and you go back to trade more time. It is a closed loop, a prison with invisible bars. But there is a backdoor. There is a way to edit the source code. Over the next few minutes, we are going to dismantle the financial lies you have been fed since birth. We are going to expose the invisible traps keeping you poor. And then, I am going to hand you the exact mental framework, the source code, that the top 1% used to escape the rat race forever. This isn't about saving $5 on coffee. This is about a fundamental restructuring of your reality. I am going to show you exactly how to pivot from being a victim of the economy to being an architect of it. But you need to decide, right now, if you are actually ready to hear the truth. If you are ready to rewrite your financial DNA, like this video and subscribe to the channel right now. Let's send a signal to the algorithm that you are part of the 1% who actually takes action. We are drawing a line in the sand. Let's begin. Let's get surgical. Why are you broke? Most people think they have an income problem. They don't. They have a dopamine problem. Your brain is not designed for modern capitalism. It evolved to survive in the wild, where resources were scarce. When a prehistoric human found food, their brains screamed, "Eat it all now! It might not be here tomorrow." That biological imperative is still running the show. But today, you aren't finding berries in a bush. You are scrolling through a feed, designed by behaviorists to hack that exact survival instinct. You see the car. You see the watch. You see the vacation. Your brain releases a hit of dopamine, just thinking about buying it. This is the poor pattern. In its purest form, the consumption of capital to purchase status. You work 40 hours a week to buy things to impress people you don't even like. You are trading your life force, hours you will never get back, for manufactured plastic and metal that loses 20% of its value the second you touch it. Corporations know this. They have spent billions mapping your neural pathways. They know that if they can trigger your insecurity, you will open your wallet to soothe the pain. You aren't just a customer to them. You are livestock. You are being farmed for your liquidity. The madness is that you think this makes you look rich. It doesn't. It makes you look like a servant to the system. Real wealth is quiet. Real wealth is the cash you didn't spend. Real wealth is the option to say no. Every time you succumb to the dopamine-debt cycle, you are tightening the chains. You are financing your own imprisonment. You look at your credit card bill and think it's just numbers. It's not. That balance represents days, weeks, and months of your future freedom that you have already sold off to the bank. You are eating your own future to feed your present ego. But fighting your biology is only step 1. Even if you stop spending, you are likely falling for a mathematical lie that is even more dangerous. If fighting your biology is hard, fighting the math is impossible. And right now, the math is slaughtering you. Here is the lie you were told in school. Work hard, get good grades, get a high-paying job, and you will be set. That advice is a death sentence. Why? Because a job is a linear equation. You trade X hours for Y dollars. The problem is that X, your time, is capped. You only have 24 hours in a day. You can only work so hard. Meanwhile, the economy is exponential. Inflation compounds. Technology compounds. Asset prices compound. The cost of living is rising on a curve but your salary is rising on a straight line. Do you see the disconnect? You are trying to catch a Ferrari on a bicycle. It doesn't matter how fast you pedal. The gap isn't closing. It's widening every single second you sleep. Wealthy people never, ever trade time for money. If your income stops when you stop working, you are not financially free. You are just a well-paid machine, and machines break. This brings us to the final trap, asset blindness. This is where the middle class gets wiped out. You work hard to buy things you think are assets, but are actually liabilities. Let's look at the biggest lie, your house. Society tells you your home is your biggest asset. Is it? Does it put money in your pocket every month? No, it takes money out. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, repairs. It is a cash flow negative vampire. The poor pattern is to fill your life with things that eat cash. You buy a car, liability. You buy a boat, liability. You buy a bigger house, bigger liability. You look wealthy on Instagram, but on your balance sheet, you are technically insolvent. The wealthy do the opposite. They have asset obsession. They don't buy the luxury car until their assets pay for it. They don't buy the house until their investments cover the mortgage. They focus 100% of their energy on acquiring things that pay them while they sleep. You have been playing the game backwards. So, how do we flip the switch? How do we stop the bleeding? We have to burn your current operating system to the ground and install the wealth patterns. Welcome to the other side of the mirror. To escape the trap we just described, you have to undergo a fundamental identity shift. You have to stop viewing yourself as an operator and start viewing yourself as an architect. An operator asks, how can I work more hours to get a bigger paycheck? But an architect asks, how can I build a system that does the work for me? This is the single greatest divider between the middle class and the top 1%. When you are an operator, you are the engine. The car only moves when you press the gas. If you stop, the car stops. This is fragile. This is exhausting. The architect builds the engine. They might work hard up front, harder than anyone else, but they are not working to get paid today. They are working to build an asset that will pay them forever. Jeff Bezos didn't get rich by packing boxes. He got rich by building a system that packs boxes. Stop renting out your brain. You are not an employee. You are the CEO of a corporation called you. Your goal is not to be the smartest person in the room doing the heaviest lifting. Your goal is to own the room. Once you think like an architect, you unlock the most powerful tool in finance, leverage. Archimedes once said, "Give me a lever long enough, and I will move the world." In the financial world, leverage is how you disconnect your inputs from your outputs. It is how you break that broken, linear math equation. The wealth pattern utilizes 4 types of leverage: capital, using money to make money; labor, using other people's time; code, software that scales infinitely; and media, content that reaches millions while you sleep. The last two, code and media, are the permissionless leverage of the modern era. You don't need a bank's permission to write software. You don't need a TV network's permission to start a YouTube channel. This allows for asymmetric risk. Most people live in negative asymmetry. They risk their time, a finite dying resource, for a capped salary. Huge downside, limited upside. The wealthy seek positive asymmetry. They risk a small amount of time or money to build something that has uncapped upside. Stop making bets where the house always wins. Start making bets where one win covers 1,000 losses. The final component is understanding the physics of money. Money is not a solid object. It is a current. It is energy. That is why it is called currency. If you stop a current, the power dies. The poor and middle class treat money like a trophy. They stick it in a savings account and stare at it. They think they are being responsible. In reality, they are suffocating their wealth. A traditional savings account, paying you peanuts while inflation eats your lunch, is not a vault. It is an incinerator. You are slowly burning your purchasing power. The rich understand velocity. A dollar sitting still is useless. A dollar moving through assets, buying inventory, funding marketing, acquiring real estate, generates friction. And that friction is profit. You need to view every dollar you own as a soldier. If that soldier is sitting in the barracks, your bank account, the war is being lost. That soldier needs to be deployed. He needs to be out on the front lines, capturing territory and bringing back prisoners in the form of more dollars. You don't save your way to wealth. You circulate your way to wealth. Now, you understand the trap. You understand the mindset. But philosophy won't put money in your bank account. You need a battle plan. Philosophy time is over. If you close this video and do nothing, you have wasted your time. To install the wealth pattern, You need to execute this 3-step protocol immediately. Phase 1. The ruthless audit. You cannot fill a bucket that has a hole in the bottom. Tonight, print out your bank statements from the last 90 days. Take a red pen. Circle every single transaction that was a dopamine hit. Every subscription you don't use. Every meal you didn't need. Every status symbol you bought on credit. Total it up. That number? That is your stupidity tax. Eliminate it mercilessly. If it doesn't keep you alive or make you money, it is gone. You need to stop the bleeding before you can start the transfusion. Phase 2. Aggressive acquisition. You need to buy your freedom. But you can't buy assets with zero capital. If you have no money, you must acquire a high-income skill. Sales, copywriting, coding, or video editing. Something that scales. If you have money, you must acquire cash-flowing assets. Real estate, dividend stocks, or businesses. Stop buying things that rust, rot, or depreciate. From this day forward, every dollar that leaves your hand should be an employee. You are hiring to work for you. Phase 3. Automate the machine. Willpower is a finite resource. You will fail if you rely on discipline alone. You need to automate your success. Set up automatic transfers. When your income hits your account, a percentage should vanish immediately into your investment accounts before you even see it. Pay your future self first. Starve your present impulses to feed your future freedom. Make being poor difficult and being rich inevitable. If you follow this protocol, you are moving toward a specific mathematical turning point. We call this escape velocity. In physics, escape velocity is the speed needed to break free from a planet's gravitational pull. In finance, gravity is your cost of existence, your rent, your food, and your mounting bills. Right now, gravity is winning. You have to work just to stay alive. But as you stack assets, a new line appears on your graph: passive income. At first, it's small. Maybe it pays for your Netflix. Then it pays for your groceries. Then it pays your rent. Then, one day, something magical happens. The passive income line crosses above the cost of existence line. This is the crossover point. This is the moment the rocket leaves the atmosphere. The second this happens, you are free. You never have to work again. You don't work because you have to. You work because you want to. You have won the game. We are at the end of the line. You now have the logic. You have the roadmap. The poor patterns have been exposed, and the wealth patterns have been uploaded. But information without execution is just entertainment. Right now, you are standing at a divergence. Path A is easy. You can close this video, go back to scrolling, and go back to complaining about an economy you refuse to understand. It is a comfortable path. It is safe. But it leads to a life of quiet desperation and regret. Path B is hard. It requires you to kill your ego. It requires you to say no when everyone else says yes. It requires you to study when others sleep and invest when others spend. But Path B leads to a place very few people ever see. It leads to total, absolute sovereignty over your time and your life. The doors are closing. The transfer of wealth is happening right now, with or without you. The system is designed to keep you poor. Prove it wrong. I'll see you on the other side.